Caroline, thank you for spending time with us. First off, how did you get into tennis? Your father was a great soccer player, your mother a volleyball player.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a sporty family, and as you said, my dad was playing soccer, my mom was playing volleyball, my brother was playing soccer. So, always sport in the blood, and I did all kinds of sports growing up: tennis, swimming, gymnastics. I mean, handball, whatever. I've played it, and yeah, my parents were playing a bit of tennis for fun and playing around with friends, and I wanted to play with them, but they said I wasn't good enough to play, so took a racket and some balls and hit against the wall for like 3-4 hours every day in the summer. And one day my dad was like, okay, if you want to play tennis, I can help you out, I can play with you a little bit, and that's how it all started.
What do you enjoy the most about the sport?
I really like that I'm the only person on the court, so I'm the one who decides. If I win, I know that I've won. If I lose, okay, I can blame it on myself or the opponent has played well. But I really like that you're really independent in there.
What's the dynamic like having your father as your coach?
Growing up, I think like every kid, sometimes they think everything the dad says is wrong. But we've reached so much together. Without him, I wouldn't have been reached the high level that I have, and we have a great relationship both on and off the court, and it's working out really well, and I trust that the things that he's telling me are the right things, and sometimes we both make mistakes together on the court, but you learn from it.
You've experimented with some other coaches, but inevitably you've gone back to your father. Why? Growing up, I've always had a few coaches there just giving me inputs, sometimes the technique and things, because my dad never played tennis before, so, he couldn't really tell me the technical things. But now, I think he knows the game as good as anyone. He's watched so many matches, he's watched me play so many times, and in the end of the day, I feel more comfortable with him being on the sideline and telling me things, and, I know that he doesn't want to change my game, he wants to improve my game. Whereas I feel that some coaches, they just want to change my game. And I'm like, well, I've reached such a high level of playing the way I want to play. Of course, you can always improve, but you don't need to change your game for that. On the WTA, there's a very interesting dynamic where the coaches, in your case, your father and your coach, get to come on to the court.
Yeah.
What is that experience like in an intense situation, having to take advice from your father and your coach?
I like it. Sometimes you feel like, okay, can I get an input here? Sometimes you can see much more from the sideline. I see that when I watch matches sometimes. I'm like, why doesn't she just do that? But when you're in there, it's tough to see sometimes. And, obviously you don't have much time, so I just let him speak, get the few inputs that you want, take them in and try to use them for your advantage.
You mentioned the fact that you have been to the top and people have tried to change your game. What do you need to do to get back to the top of the game?
So yeah, I've had a really good finish to the year, and I'm really pleased about the way I played, and I felt like I found my grip again, and that's a great feeling going into the off season, and I've learned a lot, and even though I'm still young, I feel like I've been on the tour for so long, and you learn from everything, and I feel like I'm on the right track again.
Well, you're only 22 years old. You've accomplished so much, but right before the interview started, you said sometimes your body feels like you're 50, that the sport has become so physical.
Yeah.
Where are you at physically and health-wise?
I'm healthy, but there's not one day where I wake up and feeling all great. There's always small pain here or there, or sore here or there, but I think that's a good thing, because I think the day I wake up and feel no pain, I'm afraid that I might be dead. So, I'm just taking one day at a time and enjoying that I can actually go out and play on 100%.
What are your hopes and goals for 2013?
I'm just gonna, try to win as much as possible, and of course, holding the trophy in your hand is the best feeling. So try to win tournaments, basically.
When people have talked about you, they talked about you have incredible intensity, work ethic, timing, backhand, ground strokes, but it's a little bit more defensive-minded. Maybe a little similar to Andy Murray and him breaking through at the US Open. Him breaking through, can you make a comparison, and did you draw inspiration from what he did?
I've always thought that Andy is a great player, and I love the variation in his game, being able to run a lot of balls down but still playing smart and being able to attack in the right moments. And I've always liked to watch him play, and I think it was just sooner or later you knew that he was going to win a Grand Slam, and he's had an incredible year. And for me,
I just take it day by day, basically. You know, I do it as good as I can, and at the end of the day, if you've done your best, there's nothing more you can do, and you just have to wait and see at the end of your career how good that was, and so far, so good.
Well, there are a lot of parallels. They said Andy didn't play aggressively enough, didn't have a big weapon. He made those adjustments. Do you feel there's a parallel course there with you, where you are such a great defensive player? You've done it your way and been #1 in the world. Do you need to do things differently to win a Grand Slam?
You know, I feel I can play offense as well. I feel I can play both, and it's just important to choose the right points. You know, there's no reason to go and risk to make a winner close to the line if you can place it there, you know, and you know that your opponent is not going to take it anyways. You know, you can close it off at the net, or you can, you know, just put it up, you know, take an extra shot. There's no reason to take that risk. You just need to decide what you want to do with the ball. And sometimes, you know, there's so many players that just hit as hard as they can, and, you know, to go in and try to hit harder than them, it's just stupid, because I know that that's not going to happen. So I just wait for the right moment for a short ball and go in and attack on that.
One of the underrated parts of your success is your physicality, your work ethic, your preparation. And that's something, ironically, that your boyfriend, who's #1 in the world, has said that you really have inspired him and showed him what the commitment and work ethic and preparation can do for his career. What does that make you feel like, knowing that you've helped him in that way?
Well, it's great. You know, it's so good to see him working so hard as well, because, you know, every time I go to the gym, he's like, oh, I want to join. So, I mean, lately, the last, I don't know how long, he's been in the gym every day, and I've been, in my off season, I was like, there's no gym, no nothing, just let me relax. And he's made me feel bad for not going to the gym, because he's been going every day. So, you know, it's great to see that, because in the past, you know, he was like, oh, I didn't do much gym, you know, just go out and play some balls and golf, and that's it. But, you know, to see him really be that pumped to go into the gym and really work hard, it's great to see, and the results show.
It's an interesting dynamic. People are fascinated with you off court and your social life. You were #1 in the world. Your boyfriend's #1 in the world. It's such an anomaly. Because you guys have both been through the same things, is there a connection, a comfort, and understanding?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we're both young and been doing good and great and in big sports, and, you know, to be able to draw experience from each other, and, you know, we both know what it is to go through a tough path, and also to go through, you know, an easy path, as I call it, where you just feel like you go on the court, or you go on the course, and you just feel like you can't miss. You know, you just win everything, and everything is going great. But, you know, in the end of the day, it's always going to be up and down, and it's great that you have someone there who knows how it's like.
How do you manage a long-distance relationship?
I have to say that Rory's doing a great job flying from one place to another. He's flying around the world to try to make it work, because for them it's a bit easier to manage their schedule compared to us. We have more of a set schedule, but, you know, we just try to see each other as much as we can whenever we have time. So it's been working great so far.
And you've shown a tremendous commitment getting up early. He's mentioned that there are times where you wake up, set your alarm at 4 to wish him luck. And then this summer, there was a very interesting dynamic where you were playing a big match at the Canadian Open. He was in the last round of a slam, and you were so connected. You manage the different levels of goals and achievement while they're going on simultaneously. How do you do that?
Yeah, you know, that was interesting. But it turned out that we had a rain delay before the third set, and that worked out perfectly, because I got to see the last few holes and him win the PGA. So you know,
what are you going through emotionally while you're in the middle of a rain delay? You're in a huge match in the semifinals, and then Rory's playing in the last round, and it's a huge achievement for him to back up and win another slam. I mean, what are you going through watching him?
To be honest, I was more nervous for him than I was for myself, because I know what I'm going to go out and do. So, you know, and I knew, okay, I'm probably going to have an hour and a half of a break here. So, you know, I can just focus on something else right now. There's no reason for me to focus on a match at the moment, because, you know, if you focus too much on yourself as well, you know, you're going to get tired. So I was just looking down, I was like screaming, go into the hole, come on, you know, play well. And then all of a sudden, I just remember that someone was getting close, and I was like, come on, just close it off here, you know, do a good job. And he did, and he won, and then I could go in, and I knew that he'd won, and I was going to play, and everything worked out well. I actually lost the match, but I
I played well, and the other girl just played better than me in that match.
Overall, it was a net win for the day. It was just a good day.
Exactly, it was a good day.
You're also very accessible, happy. You give so much insight into your personal life, whereas a lot of other past champions didn't give that much access. Is that a product of just a new era of expectations of fans with Twitter and Facebook and websites and sponsorships and just expectations, or is that just you? Because you seem like you manage it so well. Is that really what's going on inside?
Yeah, I think it's a combination. I think it's just me, and then you have the new era with all the technology, and it's just so easy just to keep people updated. And I think, as me growing up, I would have loved to see, what is Martina Hingis doing? What is Steffi Graf doing? What is, all the other girls doing? And, just that would have been so much fun to, feel like you're a part of, or you feel like you actually know a little bit more about them. And now, with Twitter and Facebook and all these things, you have the chance to give your fans a little bit more of yourself. And plus, you're the one who decides how much they get as well. So, I don't know, I find it fun. And sometimes, you do something fun and you're like, oh, I want to share this, or yesterday I went out buying a Christmas tree. I haven't tweeted that yet, but, I was like, oh, that's fun, gonna decorate it today. And I love Christmas, so this is like one of the best parts of the year, and I want to share that with my fans.
But you give so much insight. You tweet pictures, you superimpose your faces in funny situations, you give updates commercially with your sponsors. I mean, it's just, do you feel a sense of responsibility to your fans who have supported you so much, or is it just a process of you sharing what you're going through?
It's just a process. It's just something that I feel like I want to do. It's nothing that I feel, because if you feel like you have to do it, it will never feel real. It will feel fake, and the fans will know that too. So I just do it whenever I feel like it. Sometimes I have a couple of weeks where I don't feel like tweeting anything, and I'm quiet because, my mom once said, if you have nothing good to say nothing at all. So, it's just whenever I feel like it. And sometimes I feel like I want to tweet more, and it just depends.
That's a fair segue, because you talked about your upbringing and your mother, and there's nothing nice to say, then don't say anything at all. It seems like you are so nice. Are you too nice to be one of the greatest in such a competitive, cutthroat sport?
See, I don't think so. When you're on the court, you want to win, obviously. Everyone wants to win, and everyone wants to give them their best, give their best. And, when I'm on court, even practicing, if I'm not perfect, I get frustrated. And but in tennis, the frustrating thing about tennis is that you're never perfect. So, for the next, I don't know how many years I'm going to play, it's always going to be a frustrating game. Sometimes the court is going to feel small at times, but I enjoy my life. I think to be able to live from your hobby and travel the world and, have friends around the world and see new places, I think, we should be very thankful for that.